Hello and welcome to another Pokemon tier list video. Been a while since the last one. This one's going to be a little bit different. Just going to be ranking all the Mega Evolutions. I know in the main tier list series that I did, I ranked Mega Evolutions there. But one, it's been a while since I've ranked most of them, in my opinion, so a lot of them have changed. And two, there's a lot of new ones to go through. So I figure if I'm going to do the new ones, may as well go back over the old ones too. Now I am doing this separate from the main series, because I plan on going back and updating that one once Pokemon Champions is out and we see like what all the different abilities of the new Megas are, because I guarantee that'll probably change my opinion of a lot of them. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. First up is Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur, I think its playstyle is cool. I like how bulky it is, but it's still capable of doing good damage. I love Leech Seed strats and stuff like that, and Thick Fat is a very cool ability to give to it. That part I really like about Mega Venusaur, but its design isn't that crazy to me. It's not super interesting. It is probably my favorite out of the Kanto starter Megas. I'd probably give it like a low B tier. Like, I like it as a whole, but it's not my favorite by any means. Okay, by contrast, Mega Charizard X is like far and away by far my least favorite Mega. This is the definition of trying way too hard. It's trying so hard to be cool and edgy, and it just makes me hate it even more. I already hate Charizard, but this is just stupid. It's trying way too hard. The blue flame and black, it's just ugh. And Charizard Y doesn't have the same problem, but it's Charizard, so I hate it. It does look much more like a natural Mega Evolution for Charizard. It feels like a natural progression for that design to take, rather than edgy Deviant ROC. And not in a cool way, but in a hard way. Yeah. Charizard can kiss my ass. I hate that Pokemon. Blastoise. Blastoise, I don't really feel anything towards. It's C tier. Mega Launcher is a really cool ability, but I think Clawitzer does it better, because it actually gets more pulse moves that I can make use of. Yeah, I'd say C tier. And its design is just fine. It's nothing super standout. Mega Beedrill. Now, Beedrill is my favorite Pokemon, so naturally, Mega Beedrill is my favorite Mega. Like, it's so peak. Mega Beedrill is like everything that a Mega should be in my mind. It's buffing a really weak Pokemon. It's super min-maxed, and it's got a really cool design. This is like the Mega Evolution. I love Mega Beedrill. Adaptability is also a really cool ability, and this thing's stats being as insane and unhinged as they are. Peak. It's peak. I love Mega Beedrill. Mega Pidgeot is Pidgeot, but with more hair, so D tier. I already don't care about Pidgeot. It's a very boring bird, and Mega Pidgeot is just that same boring bird with a little more hair. No Guard's a cool ability, I guess, but it really only helps with like Hurricane and kind of Heat Wave. Heat Wave isn't even super inaccurate, but I feel like it hurts Mega Pidgeot more than it helps, because that means all those super inaccurate Rock-type moves are gonna hit it all the time. I'm pretty sure it does not have the bulk to live, so yeah, D tier. Mega Raichu X. If I remember right, whenever I first ranked the new Megas that were revealed before the game came out, I think I put it in B tier. I definitely like it a bit more now. I would say A tier. I think this does a pretty good job of calling back to Pikachu while still being very distinctly Raichu. Like, it's got Pikachu's colors and everything, but the body shape and the ears and the tail, it is very clearly still Raichu. It is a Mega Raichu. I think it's cool that it's a physical attacker. I think it's cool that it's very bulky. I do wish it went a little harder not harder. I wish it got some more speed for it, but that's really my only complaint stat-wise. I think it's very cool that in the game it's got like a kind of built-in ability where it gets an attack boost every time it uses a Volt Tackle. I think that's very cool. I think A tier for sure. And also, I think there's a pretty good chance it might get Levitate, or at least an ability like Levitate. It gives it an immunity to ground, but it might also have another effect. I don't know. Mega Raichu Y. Mega Raichu Y. This is Mega Pikachu. This is not Raichu. There's like having callbacks to your pre-evolution with like Raichu, Mega Raichu X has Pikachu's colors, or like Chimecho having Chingling's outline, or Lamora's body shape, Dragonite's whole thing. There's a lot of ways to call back the previous evolutions in a way that feels natural and normal. But this is Mega Pikachu. This is not Raichu. The fact this has the name Raichu attached to it is kind of just insulting to Raichu itself. Because that's not Raichu. That is Mega Pikachu, and I'm not a fan. I think when I first ranked it, it was like B or C tier, but definitely as the shock of it being revealed has worn off, it's definitely D tier. I don't care for it much at all. Mega Clefable is a conflicting one for me, because I like its design for the most part. I think the wings and the ears are all great. I think even get the flying type is really cool. But then the weird, like, nipple on its head? I know it's supposed to be, I think, a beret or some of those French hats. I don't remember exactly. It being flesh colored makes it look a lot like a nipple. I don't think it looks... I do not like it much at all. The rest of it is really cool. I like the wings and like the sparkly effects that they have in game. I think that is really cool. But the thing on the head is weird. And also, the stats aren't really anything to write home about, because they're kind of just Togekiss, but again, especially with the typing, it's Togekiss, but it takes up a Mega slot. And that kind of irks me the wrong way. I think it's definitely above Mega Blastoise. Whether it's high C or low B, I'm not sure on yet. I might move it later, but for now, I think I'm going to have it high C. Alakazam. Alakazam, I think his design is pretty funny. The wise old man beard and getting 5 spoons for some reason. I think that's funny. Its stats are insane, of course. It's a very min-max Pokemon. And Trace is a really interesting ability to give to a Mega. I think B tier. I think below Venusaur is where I'd put it. Mega Victreebel. I am a little sad. I tried to use Victreebel in the main game. I used it for most of the way through before I ended up replacing it with like Frostlass or Dramflare or something. And then I wanted to try to give it another chance in the DLC, but it ended up getting replaced with Scoville. And poor guy. I really do love Mega Victreebel. I think it is A tier. But it just kind of got shafted because there are more other Mega Pokemon that I liked more. But yeah, I do really like Mega Victreebel. I love how goofy he is. I love his stupid face. Just a very fun guy. I love him. Slowbro, I think, is in a similar camp. I think it's also A tier. This thing's stats are crazy. Got like infinity defense and also really good special attack still. It's like a very fun Pokemon to use, and especially whenever it comes back, it'll have Body Press now that it can use, and that'll be capable of some pretty good damage. Yeah, big fan of Mega Slowbro. Mega Gengar. Now, in my original tier list videos, I mentioned how I don't really care for base Gengar at all because it's kind of just a purple blob with a face. Mega Gengar solves that problem because it's actually got an interesting and cool design now. It's not just a purple blob with a face anymore. There's a lot of detail on it, and I think that is really cool. It's either high B or low A. I think I would say low A for now. I do really appreciate Gengar. It takes a Pokemon that I otherwise don't care for and really amps it up. Mega Kangaskhan. I think the idea of this Mega is really cool, giving like all the Mega energy going to the baby, and then it being able to fight with the mother is really cool. It's a little unbalanced though, and it's probably going to be even better come Pokemon Champions because of how Scrappy got buffed to be immune to Intimidate, so it can make use of that in its base form and then Mega and go crazy. I think high C, I would probably put it just under Clefable still. Because the design isn't super crazy, it's nothing super cool, but I do think the concept is really cool. Starmie. I am so conflicted about Mega Starmie, because on one hand, it's really funny. It is really funny that this thing exists and moves and runs around the way it does. But on the other hand, I feel like I get where the design inspiration came from with the Ultraman stuff. I get it. I get it, but I think there was more they could have done with it other than just elongating its legs. I think they could have done more while keeping the same concept, because it is kind of disappointing. I think there's a lot of potential for a Mega Starmie, and it's fine if they want to go down the Ultraman reference route, because that's what Starmie is. But I feel like there's a way they could do it while also making the design a bit more interesting. As is, I think I just have to put it like smack dab in the middle. I'll say top of C tier, because I'm so conflicted on how to feel about it. It just kind of evens out to being about in the middle. Pinsir I think is very cool. Normally bug flying is not a type I really care much for, but when you give it a cool ability like Air Relate, yeah, I think it's pretty nice. I think of Alakazam and B tier, Mega Pinsir is very cool. Mega Gyarados, this is apparently a pretty controversial one. I've heard very mixed opinions on Mega Gyarados. I just kind of assume people like it because I think it's pretty cool. I think top of B tier. I feel like the design isn't super crazy, but I think it works for Gyarados being like a huge evil sea monster. And it getting the dark type makes a lot of sense, and I think it's pretty cool. Because, of course, Gyarados, all of its Pokedex entries just talk about how vicious and monstrous it is. I think it makes way more sense to get the dark type than it does dragon, even if it is based on a dragon. I don't think having draconic inspirations automatically means you have to be a dragon type. Gyarados, I think it's cool. I think high B tier. Not my favorite by any means, but still. Mega Aerodactyl, its stats are like the only thing I have positive to say about it. Its design is very weak. It's just spikes. They just added spikes to Aerodactyl and called it a day. I am not a very big fan of it at all. And Tough Claws, I'm genuinely trying to think. I think it gets a dual wing beat. I think that's like the only move it gets that's boosted by Tough Claws. And I don't think it even got that. That move didn't exist back when it was first added. So, I mean, Pokemon Champions might be able to do a bit with that move. But then rock type moves, I think like the only contact rock moves are like Stone Axe, Mighty Cleave, Accelerock. I think that might literally be a head smash, and Aerodactyl doesn't even get that. Aerodactyl's moveset is a travesty as a whole, really. It needs a rework. But until then, it's D tier. I don't really care much for it at all. Dragonite. I think what they did with Dragonite's stats is really cool, because making it into a special attacker just makes sense. Dragonite has always had way better coverage with its special move pool compared to its physical, so that just means it'll be a lot more usable now. It'll have a very different playstyle from what Dragonite usually does, and I'm interested to see what that does, but I'm still... Any Pokemon, any like pseudo-legendaries or legendaries are just immediately gonna have like a debuff applied to them, because I just don't think they need Megas for the most part, apart from like Goodra. Goodra would have been good to have a Mega, because Goodra kind of sucks. But then like Dragonite's already a good Pokemon. I don't think it needed a Mega, and if it does get a Mega, I feel like it should at least be like a much smaller boost to the base stat total, like it did with Zygarde. But I think low B tier is fine for Dragonite. That's about how I feel about it as a whole. Mewtwo, the Mewtwo's suck. I don't care for these things whatsoever. I think Y is better than X. Not by much. These things' designs freak me out, and their stats are crazy. Obviously, X is not nearly as good because of Mewtwo's physical move pool is not nearly as good as special. But yeah, D tier for sure. I don't care for him. Mega Meganium. Talk about a glow up. The design isn't super crazy, but I do like it. But the stats and the typing is what really interests me. I'm hoping this will actually be able to be capable of doing some stuff competitive. I think the design is neat, and I think there's a lot of potential here, especially if it keeps like Earth Power. Just give it triage and let it go crazy. I would say above Venusaur. I think Mega Meganium has a lot of potential. And then we got another very conflicting one for me with Feraligatr. Its stats are neat. I wish they would have given it a bit more speed, or like any speed at all. I don't think its speed increased one bit. Water Dragon's a cool type, but then the design is where it gets conflicting for me. When it works, it really works. When the hood is down and it makes like the Totodile face, I think at that point the design is really cool. Unfortunately, for the most time, it's up and looks like a toilet lid. If they just made the lid or the hood, if they just made the hood like not, it doesn't have to be all the way down all the time, but at least like bring it down where it casts like a shadow over its head and makes it look a little more menacing. Anything other than what it's doing right now, because it just looks so stupid and not in a good way. As is, I think I just have to say C tier. I'll put it above Kangaskhan because conceptually it's really cool, but unfortunately most of the time it just doesn't work. Yeah, it's C tier. Mega Ampharos is neat. I've always liked Ampharos, so giving it the dragon type is cool. The design is funny. I just wish it was a little better. Just give it Thunderclap. Give it Thunderclap, give it Tail Glow, give it Draco Meteor, and then we're good. And then you're cooking. I'd say above Meganium. I do like Ampharos. Mega Steelix. I'm gonna be real, I don't know anything about how this plays. It's completely carried off of design. It's so cool. Mega Steelix's design is just so cool. The like orbiting ring of debris rotating around him, like he's got his own gravitational pull. Super sick, and the diamonds poking out of his body. So cool. Scizor. It's okay. It's a very, very, very simple design. It's not bad, but it's not super interesting either. It doesn't play any different from Scizor either. From base Scizor. I think C tier. It's not super interesting to me. Mega Heracross. The design isn't my favorite, to be honest, but I do really like Skill Link. I like how stupidly, ridiculously high its attack stat is for like no reason. That I like. I would put it, I think above Venusaur. I think Mega Heracross is pretty cool. Oh, and Skarmory. When I first saw Skarmory, I was very iffy on it because the feet looked stupid. But then they reminded me of the that one bird. Yeah, that bird, and it's really funny. Also, I think this thing has a lot of potential in competitive, with base Skarmory having weak armor, it getting Swords Dance. I think it's really cool how it goes from a very defensive Pokemon, then you Mega, and it's got a completely different playstyle and goes full offense. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, above Mega Gengar. Of course, also, I already like Skarmory, so it's gonna be hard for me to dislike this. So, yeah, very, very cool. Houndoom. Houndoom is okay. I think top of C tier. Oh, below Mega Starmie. It's not super interesting. Its design is cool, but other than that, there's nothing that really wows me about it. Solar Power is a very cool ability to give to a fire type, I will say. I think C tier. Tyranitar just doesn't do anything for me. Its design is just Tyranitar, but with more spikes. It's got the same problem as Aerodactyl, so I'll put it above it. I don't hate it as much, but yeah, I'm not a fan. Also, it did not need one whatsoever. Sceptile. Mega Sceptile. I used to like this thing a lot more than I do now. As is, I think it's okay. I think bottom of B tier. I don't dislike it at all. But I've definitely come to appreciate these other two more. Blaziken I would probably have over Meganium. I think it's really cool. The fire coming out of its fists. Super sick. The only downside is I wish it got something other than Speed Boost. And since the base form already has that, it could get a different ability, but it's fine. And Swampert's definitely my favorite out of all of them, by a little bit. Well, actually, not by quite a bit. I think it's A tier. I'd put it over Gengar. Swift Swim is really cool to have on this guy. I like how over the top and stupid his design is. Just big muscle man mud skipper fish. Super, super sick. I do like the I think they made the orange on him a bit darker than his base form, and that I really like. I really like that shade of orange. Yeah. Also, another Pokemon I've got a lot of high hopes for in Pokemon Champions. I think there's a lot of potential with Mega Swampert. Just gotta watch out for Rillaboom. Mega Gardevoir, probably C tier, to be honest. It's kind of just got a bigger dress on. I appreciate Pixelate. Pixelate's a cool ability, but that's not going to be enough to bring it up super high. Because design-wise, it's nothing spectacular. Mega Sableye, another very conflicting one for me, because Sableye is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. In no small part due to Prankster. Prankster Sableye is one of my favorite Pokemon to use. I like how disruptive it can be. But Mega Sableye is kind of the exact opposite. I like the design for Mega Sableye. I do really like it. I appreciate it a little bit more now that we know about that one Beta Sableye design, where it does bear a striking resemblance to the Mega, like 10 years or so before the Mega ever existed. I appreciate the design a lot because of that. But Magic Bounce is quite the opposite thing to Prankster. Prankster is my favorite ability, but my least favorite ability is Magic Bounce because it completely counters Prankster. And that kind of knocks it down a little bit for me. Not super far, I think just below Victreebel. But yeah, I do like it, but it's not quite S tier like it would be otherwise. What is S tier though is Mega Mawile. Mawile is a Pokemon I've come to appreciate a lot over the last year. I really like the design, and Mega Mawile really amplifies that. Huge power with 110 base attack, I think it is. I think it's 110 or 100, 105, somewhere in that range. Is insane. This thing has so much damage potential. I think it might actually have the highest possible attack stat out of any Pokemon, or it might be tied with Mega Medicham. Mega Mawile is just so much fun to use, and finally being able to use one in-game in ZA made me appreciate it even more. That thing is a beast in that game. Mega Mawile is great. Mega Aggron, I think it's cool that it drops the rock type to become pure steel, because unlike another Pokemon later on, that makes it better. Steel Rock is a horrible type. Design-wise, it's not super interesting, though I will say it does get carried a bit by the wall. I really appreciate that video. That video has made me really like Mega Aggron a little more. Not a whole lot more, because the design honestly is kind of a downgrade from base Aggron. It's not terrible, but it's just okay. But I appreciate this thing because of the wall. Mega Medicham. I haven't gotten to use Mega Medicham very much. I feel like I'd probably like it more if I did, but I would probably put it under Pinsir. The design is neat. I like how these little wraps, whatever they are, cloth, I don't know what they are, but I like how they turn into fists and stuff whenever he attacks. Mega Manectric. I really don't care for this thing's design at all. I think it looks stupid. Not in a Mega Slowbro way where it looks good stupid, but this just kind of looks stupid. Intimidate is really cool to give this thing. I think it's got a pretty neat playstyle with Volt Switch and turning off Intimidate a bunch of times. That I think is cool, but I don't think I can really place it super high. I'll put it under Clefable. Sharpedo is just stupid. This thing is so awful. This thing's design is... there's just too much going on here, and what is going on just looks stupid and ugly. This just looks worse than base Sharpedo. I know it is pretty fun to use in battle, but that can only save you so much when your design is so lame, like Mega Sharpedo's is. Mega Camerupt is kind of the inverse. It's not super great in battle. It's okay, but its design I think really carries it. Although I will say Sheer Force is a really cool ability to give to Camerupt, so that brings it up a little bit at least. It's pretty cool. Mega Altaria, another Mega with Pixelate, but I think this one, I like the design a bit more than Gardevoir. It is still pretty simple. It's just kind of poofier Altaria, but Dragon Fairy is a cool type, and I want to see more of. Maybe the Gen 10 Pseudo Legendary will be a Fairy Dragon type. But for now, since Altaria is the only one, I think that gives it a little boost, in my opinion. I'll put it at the bottom of B tier. I like it. Mega Bayonet completely sucks in battle, but not gonna lie, it's carried up to S tier on design alone. This is such a sick way to like progress Bayonet's design. Just give it more zippers all around the body to unzip and reveal evil, ghostly energy inside of it. It's so genius. I love this thing's design so much. Chimecho, I think top of B tier to be honest. I really like this thing's design. The callback to Chingling is done nice, and it's still identifiably a Chimecho. Very cool. I do really like Mega Chimecho. Giving it part Steel type is really good. Its stats are actually pretty decent. I hope it'll be good in competitive. I don't have super high hopes. It's not as min-max as a lot of other Pokemon are. I have high hopes. I have high hopes for Chimecho. Base Mega Absol. I think A tier again. ZA definitely gave me a lot more of an appreciation for Absol as a Pokemon. Most of that went to its other Mega Evolution, but Base Mega Absol I definitely like a little bit more now. I still do think it should have been part Fairy type. I think that would make it really, that would bump it up quite a few spots in my eyes. But I think it's fine if it's just pure dark. It's okay. It does have Magic Bounce, which kind of contrasts with its more offensive stat spread, which is it's just kind of weird that it got Magic Bounce in the first place. I don't know what else you would give it. Like I would give it its own ability or something. I don't know. But Magic Bounce doesn't really work on such an offensive Pokemon. It works with Sableye because it's got super high defenses and a pretty good defensive type, but not so much for Absol. I think middle of A tier is fine. Mega Absol Z though. Oh man, that's an easy S tier. I think above Bayonet. Mega Absol Z is a fucking beast. That thing. If there's a Pokemon weak to Dark or Ghost in ZA, it completely shreds it. Like I did a Mega Starmie raid with like a move power Dark 2 donut, and it did like an eighth of its health bar in one hit. I have never seen, well, I have since then because I used Annihilate, but that was the first time I had ever seen a Rogue Mega's health bar drop like that. It was crazy. Also, the design is just peak. It's just so peak. The contrast to Absol, the other Mega Absol is like an angel kind of design, and this one is super demonic. And the yin and yang thing, the very light yin and yang theming that they have, further exemplified here. A huge red claw coming out of it that is instead of a wing. It's peak. It's peak. It's a cool design, and it's good in battle, which it's got over Bayonet at least. Very cool. Glalie. Refrigerate is a cool ability. Moving on, Salamence. Yeah, see, I think design-wise specifically, I think Roaring Moon pulls it off way better because of all the feathers and stuff. This just looks stupid. I think top of D tier. I also don't like how horrifically broken it is and dominant. Like, there's just no reason to use. That's my problem with pseudo legendaries getting megas, is because they're already have high base set totals. It's near impossible to make them bad or worse, and it means that they overshadow a lot of the other mega Pokemon that get introduced. Because why would you want to use, like, I don't know, Mega Sharpedo? You're just throwing if you use anything other than one of the super strong ones that are usually coming from super strong Pokemon already. The only exception is like Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is a Pokemon that was very weak before and then became very dominant because of its Mega. But that is 1 out of like 90 Megas, and I don't care for that much at all. Metagross, similar situation. I think the design is just worse than base Metagross. It's not as bad as Salamence or Tyranitar's, but I think it's just doing too much design-wise, and it's in a similar situation to Salamence where it was just way too strong. It being as fast as it is and as high of an attack set as it has with Tough Claws is way too much. Way too much. If it was more balanced, I would probably like it a lot more. Latios and Latios are easily F tier. Why are they just the same Pokemon with different eye colors? That's like the only difference. Well, I think maybe Latios's little side things point forward instead of back like Latios's does. Maybe. This might just be the artwork that makes him look like that, but either way, it's awful. Such a lame design to give to these two. Rayquaza. Um, I I feel identically as I do to Mega Metagross. It's way too dominant. I think there's a little too much going on with the design. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but I think there's just too much, too much there. The only reason I don't have it in D tier is because I really like its theme that it got in Legends EA. The whole boss fight and stuff surrounding it in ZA is super, super cool. It's a really good love letter to Hoenn. And of course the Delta episode where you ride on the back of it and Horace is very cool. That's the only thing standing up for going down to D tier because of how stupidly unbalanced it is. Nerf this thing, please. Mega Staraptor is kind of strange to me. The design is cool enough, but making another fighting flying type with a very similar stat spread in the same game as Hawlucha is questionable. I think high C tier. I don't hate it, but it's just kind of confusing to me as to why it exists. I feel like there were other regional bird Pokemon that were definitely calling for a Mega a little more. Not that Staraptor is like super strong or whatever, it's not the strongest. I think it's fine if it gets a Mega. Would have rather seen like Talonflame or Unpheasant or Toucanon, like one of the weaker regional birds get a Mega. But that's just like a coulda, woulda, shoulda thing. It's fine. Mega Lopunny. This thing, I think, has a lot of potential in Pokemon Champions because of the buff to Scrappy. It being immune to Intimidate now, and having a Fake Out that you just cannot avoid because it hits Ghost types. This thing has a lot of potential. The only reason I'm not putting it in A tier is because the design is just... What were they thinking? I do not say this often. I don't, because I think it's such an overplayed saying, especially in regards to Pokemon. They knew exactly what they were doing with this thing's design. They took a Pokemon that was already partially based on the Playboy Bunny, and they gave it ripped tights. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? Anyways, Mega Garchomp. Base Mega Garchomp. It doesn't get the Pseudo Legendary nerf because it's actually somehow worse than its base form, so this is mostly just going to be based on design, which I like the design. Low B tier. I like the design. It gives me like Reaper Leviathan from Subnautica vibes for multiple reasons, mostly because it's already a very fishy looking Pokemon. The Reaper hands that it has and the very strong bottom jaw, and I love Subnautica, so anything that reminds me of it is going to get a buff. Mega Garchomp Z. I already mentioned how base Mega Garchomp is somehow worse than its base form. Mega Garchomp Z, I don't know how they fumble it twice. It drops the ground type. This is not an Aggron situation where losing one of the types makes it better. Dragon Ground is a very good offensive combo. Sure, it's quad weak to ice, but quad weakness doesn't immediately make it bad. It's just baffling to me that they did what they did with this thing. And they made it a special attacker. Like, if you made it pure dragon, but at least made it fast and make it hit hard physically, maybe it wouldn't be too bad, but Garchomp's special move pool is just not nearly good enough to justify making it a special attacker. It's so weird to me. And the design, I don't think is as good as the other Mega Garchomp. I don't think it's like a super big downgrade. It's just such a strange Pokemon. I don't get why they did it at all. Like, if they wanted to make 3 Z Pokemon, I think... Well, I've got opinions about that in a second. I'll get there. Lucario is F tier. I hate Lucario. Lucario Z is F tier. I hate Lucario. A similar vein to Charizard, I'm tired of it being shoved down our throats constantly. Mega Lucario Z, I think, marginally looks a little bit better than Mega Lucario X, so it's over that. Yeah, it not changing types is so lame. So Z-Megas as a whole. I don't think the idea of doing Z-Megas is terrible. It just depends on what Pokemon you give them to and how you do it. Mega Absol Z is like perfect. That's a great Z-Mega. Mega Garchomp Z could have been a lot better if they didn't do the stats the way they did. Because I think giving Garchomp another chance to have a good Mega is fine. And it's not a Pokemon that's super oversaturated and shoved down our throats 24/7. Mega Lucario Z has no reason to exist whatsoever. Mega Lucario was already strong. Lucario is constantly being shoved down our throats 24/7. It is the original industry plant. So the fact that it gets another Mega is so stupid. If they wanted to give another Pokemon a chance at having a Mega, whereas the original one was bad, give it to Glalie, give it to Manectric, give it to... Well, Mega Manectric wasn't that bad. Give it to Ampharos, give it to Heracross, give it to... I don't know, anything other than Lucario again. It's so awful that it got another Mega. I hate that Pokemon so much. Mega Abomasnow, I don't care for this thing's design at all. There's just way too much going on. It is an eyesore. This thing is just not nice to look at. It's a D tier. No, definitely below. No, I'll say above Tyranitar, but I'm not a fan. Mega Gallade. This one is one of the old Megas that could very well change a whole lot with champions if they give it sharpness. Give Mega Gallade sharpness, and I will rank it probably a lot higher, because sharpness is a really cool ability, and Gallade with sharpness hits pretty damn hard. So Mega Gallade with an even higher attack stat has a lot of potential. For now, I'll rank it above Aggron, because I like that the design changes a lot more than Gardevoir does. Like having the cape and the big old blades on its arms and the blue thing on its head doing that. I think it had that before, but it's a little more exaggerated now. Like, the design, I think, as a Mega is better than Gardevoir. But battle-wise, I think Gardevoir is more interesting. But if it gets sharpness, it's probably going up to A tier. Frostlass is an easy S tier. I knew what Pokemon were getting Megas going into the base game of ZA, so I knew Frostlass was supposed to get a Mega, but it wasn't really on my radar for something to watch out for. But the moment I saw its design in the Rogue Mega fight, dude, I added it to my team instantly after. It is so cool. It being on like a cloud of snow, because in the Specs entry it says it can freeze insubstantial things like wind and stuff like that. So it showing that in the design, so cool. The eyes are a very simple change, but becoming a lot more sharper makes it look a lot more menacing. And of course, like the Oni horns that it has, so cool. It is such a good design. Actually peak. Heatran, kind of another Gengar situation. You take a Pokemon that I don't care for at all, like Heatran, the most nothing burger legendary Pokemon we've ever got, and making it actually have a cool design? Interesting. Also, I think this has the record for the new hottest Pokemon, temperature-wise, hottest Pokemon at 1.8 million degrees Fahrenheit. Interesting. Not my favorite design-wise, but I think I'd put it above Altaria. It's cool. Arguably did not need to exist. Not even arguably, it definitely did not need to exist. Actually, I'll put it bottom of B tier. Because Heatran was already a good Pokemon in both singles and doubles, so I don't know why they thought giving it a Mega was necessary, but they did, so yeah. Mega Darkrai. It seems to be like another Feraligatr thing, which is a very controversial one. I am mostly indifferent. I think when it has like the eye design, when it's just a big glowing eye, I think that is really cool. I kind of wish it looked like that all the time. Just like an eldritch, like incomprehensible being. I think that would make Darkrai a bit cooler in my opinion. This design is like a little strange to me. I don't hate it like a lot of other people do, but it's definitely not my favorite. I'll rank it below Starmie and C tier. There's things I like about it and there's things I don't like. The stats are also interesting. It's a lot slower, but a lot bulkier. I'm interested to see how this thing plays out in competitive. In singles, at least, it's not going to be legal in doubles, probably. Mega Emboar. This was my starter choice, so I'm very biased, and I really like him. I think I put him below Banette. Banette, I like Banette's design just way too much. This thing's design is really cool. The fire serpent staff thing is sick. The tusk and the face look a lot more menacing, and the fire design on the body is so good. And the shiny is phenomenal. I mean, Emboar already had a good shiny, but shiny Mega Emboar is peak. Such a good Mega. My only thing I wish they did was didn't waste as many points in special attack. It could have used that in like its physical defense, or maybe a little more into its physical attack, something other than wasting it in special attack. But other than that, it's cool. Mega Excadrill. I do really like Excadrill as a Pokemon-based Excadrill, but I cannot lie, it did not need a Mega at all. Both singles and doubles, Excadrill is a really, 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 really good Pokemon already. Giving this thing a Mega is just not a good choice in my opinion. And to be honest, I don't really care much for the design. I think it's cool when it's in drill form. I feel about the same as I do towards Feraligatr. I don't think it looks as bad when it's outside of the drill form as Feraligatr does when it's outside of the Totodile head. But I feel very similarly to them. The design just looks a little awkward to me. Audino, I feel nothing towards. It's fine. I'll put it below Blastoise. It's whatever. The fact that Audino was our only Gen 5 Mega for like a decade was stupid. Like, I think Audino is a Pokemon that should get a Mega, absolutely, because it's a pretty weak Pokemon as is, but the way they did it made it not very good, and that was why it was disappointing for me. If it was like a good and usable Pokemon, I wouldn't have been nearly as disappointed as I am with it now. But hey, it's not our only Gen 5 Mega anymore, so it doesn't really give it many point stocks, so it's just middle C tier. I don't really think about it anymore, that we have other way better Gen 5 Megas. Speaking of Scolipede, design-wise, it's like A tier, but its stats leave a lot to be desired. It losing so much speed when Scolipede is known for being super fast is a really weird choice to me. Like, obviously, to me, it seems like you're meant to get some speed with Speed Boost before you Mega Evolve, and then do that and use whatever ability it gets then. Probably Stamina, if I had to guess. I'd say above Heracross. But the design is really what carries it. The Whirlipede armor and the like neon green is really cool. Scrafty. I love Scrafty. One of my favorite Pokemon for the longest time. The design isn't super crazy to me, but I like it. I really like it. I mean, you can't make me hate Scrafty, so I do think above Slowbro. I'm just such a big fan of Scrafty, so yeah, naturally A tier. The stats on this thing are really, really good. It's really bulky, and it's got really good attack too now. I think it's a little faster. Obviously, you're not really meant to use this thing as being like a speedster or anything. But I think Mega Scrafty has a lot of potential, especially depending on the ability they give it. Because it has Intimidate and Moxie pre-Mega Evolution. So, I mean, even if it gets like a pretty lame ability, I think it still has potential. Just because of the stats alone. But even like Overcoat being immune to Spore from a Moongus or something like that would be really good. I think Mega Scrafty has a lot of potential. Definitely a Pokemon to watch out for. Mega Electros is an easy S tier. I love this thing's design. Like I mentioned before with like Mega Raichu X and Chimecho, they call back their previous evolutions in a really cool way. I think Mega Electros does it the best out of any Mega Pokemon. It does still improve on the design of like the main Electros body. Then it's got two little arm cannons that are called False Electric, obviously referencing the middle stage of the line. And they're colored white like Tynamo, referencing the first stage of the line. I think it calls the whole line, or not calls, I think it ties the whole line together so well. I love this thing. I won so hard with this game and all the new Megas. Chandelure, another Pokemon similar vein to Scrafty that I really like. Not as big of a fan of Sam of Scrafty, so not going to rank as high. The design is fairly basic. It's exactly what I would expect out of a Mega Chandelure. Obviously, the Chandelier Pokemon is just going to get more ornate and complex. That just makes sense. So I think middle of A tier. I love Chandelure. Oh, and we're on a winning streak here. Mega Golurk is peak. Actually peak. Golurk was already a cool Pokemon, but this, having the energy burst out of it and cover the whole body with the like inner spirals and stuff around the body going dark, it's so peak. And the stats are pretty good too. The only thing I wish they would have not wasted, I think it's like 15 points of special attack if it does in its defenses, or maybe it's attack or speed or whatever. But nonetheless, there's not too many points wasted. It's very, very cool. I'm very happy Golurk got a Mega. It needed it. And it wasn't really the type of Pokemon to me that screamed like something that would get an evolution. It feels like a very finished design. So a Mega just made sense for Golurk. I'm very happy with it. Mega Chestnut is S tier. Easy S tier. It's such a good way to add on to base Chestnut's design. Doesn't really show it here in this artwork, but it having like a mace that it can take off from the side of its shell here and then slam enemies with. Peak. The crown design peak. The cape peak. It's so good. I love Mega Chestnut. And then another winner here, Mega Delphox taking a Pokemon. I used to really not like Delphox because it was just kind of weird to me. It's grown on me over the years, but it's still not one of my favorites. But Mega Delphox surfing on a flaming broom that alone would be cool, but then the rest of the changes to the design with like the singed fur that looks like the shiny colors, it's so good. Such a good design. I still want Rick and Boar got more of a personal attachment to it, but very cool. Such a good Mega. Mega Greninja, not as big of a fan. I've just never been much of a Greninja fan as a whole, but hanging upside down off a gigantic water shuriken is pure aura, and I have to rank him highly for that at least. I think I'll put him below Heracross. It's very cool. Very cool design. Mega Pyroar. It's like the same deal as Mega Pidgeot, so you know, Mega Pyroar looks good for all of like half a second when you first see it in game and the mane is all lit up. If the mane was like actually fire, if it was actually on fire, it didn't just look like fire, I would probably like it a little more. Or if it was lit up all the time, or did anything other than looking like this, I would like it a lot more. But yeah, it's not great. The artwork does do it a little more justice. It looks a little better here with that little image, but still not great. Mega Eternal Flower Floette. This one I'm a little conflicted because it looking like the ultimate weapon is really cool. The flower getting most of the Mega energy is cool. But the weird, like, umbilical cord thing it's got going on connected to its main body, you can't really see it here. But that kind of weirds me out. Other than that, I think it's cool. I think the stats are neat. I think bottom of B tier is fine. Mega Meowstic was a sleeper hit for me, honestly. When I first saw Meowstic being one of the next rogue Pokemon you fight, I didn't have very many expectations because it's Meowstic, but this thing surprised me a lot. I think it's really cool. I'll put it above Mega Aggron. I think it's a very, very cool design. It's a good way to mix both the male and female Meowstic while still adding on to it as a whole. Super sick. Malamar. Whenever I first ranked it, I had it in S tier because all we had to work on was the design, and that was enough for me. I do love the design still, but its stats are so horrifically atrocious. I think that brings it down to A tier, to be honest. Like, I can't get over how poorly they did its stats. It's so sad. I really hope they give him like a super broken ability. That'll put him right back up into S tier if they give him like a Trick Room ability or Simple plus Contrary. It needs a lot. It's gonna need a lot to help. Because as is, it's not great. I think even below Crafting Golurk. Yeah, I love the design for this thing. When I first saw mock-ups of what Mega Malamar might potentially look like, I was very worried because I didn't really care for much of them. But the official design is so good. But the stats just really leave a lot to be desired. Mega Barbaracle. Similar situation to Gengar. I do not care for base Barbaracle whatsoever. I think it's a hideous and ugly Pokemon. But Mega Barbaracle somehow makes Barbaracle actually cool. That takes talent. I think it's an A tier Mega. I think Mega Barbaracle is super sick. And Rock Fighting is such a cool type. I've been wanting another Rock Fighting type for a long time now. So it's really cool to actually get one. Super sick. Big fan of Mega Barbaracle. Mega Dragalge. I think it's another B tier one. I don't have a lot to say about it. I think it's cool that it gives people cancer. I think it's funny that it can do that. I'd put it above Mega Venusaur. I think it's pretty cool. Also, I'm pretty sure it's going to get Regenerator just based off its dex entry and all the cancer stuff. regenerating cells and stuff, it just makes sense that it would get Regenerator. That'll be really cool. Regenerator is a fun ability. I think I got high hopes for Dragalge. Hawlucha, it's like high C tier. I'm just not the biggest Hawlucha fan. The design is cool, but other than that, it's nothing super interesting to me. I think it's better than Staraptor, at least in terms of fighting flying types introduced in this game. Mega Zygarde looks like a Digimon, but and like it's a good thing. I think it's really cool. This enormous cannon on it is so over the top, and its stats are so over the top. It's ridiculous. Unlike like Zygarde, or not Zygarde, unlike Rayquaza, there's clearly a balance to this Mega. It's not going to have like no restrictions. You can just Mega Evolve it instantly. It has to get down to half health first, and then it can Mega. That's the restriction with Zygarde. It can't just immediately Mega Evolve and still hold an item like Rayquaza can. So stupid that it can do that, by the way. But yeah, I think it's very cool. I think below Sceptile is fine. It's not my favorite by any means, but still pretty sick. Mega Diancie. Another one I don't really think about very often. I think it's neat to like very fancy design on it. I think this is another one with Magic Bounce. They really liked giving Magic Bounce to Megas for some reason. It's like C tier. It's fine. I don't think about it very often. Mega Crabominable is my GOAT, dude. This thing, I think very top of A tier. I think the design is still like a little strange to me. I think it's cool, don't get me wrong. I love how it leans much more into being like an abominable snowman, like the hollow white eyes. It looks monstrous, but there's something about it just seems like a little off to me that keeps it from S tier. But this thing was so goated throughout my playthrough. Ice and Fighting is such a crazy good offensive combo, and then Earthquake is coverage. So good. Also, keeping it from S tier, that fight that you do against them is ridiculous. It's like not put like where it should be in the game, probably. They are way, way too strong for how high of a level you can get at that point in the game. I think definitely top of A tier. I love Mega Crabominable. Mega Golisopod. The design isn't super crazy for Mega Golisopod, but the stats are actually ridiculous on this guy. It's got like 175 defense, 150 attack. Still really good special defense. I think it's like 110. And it's a bug steel type now. I'm putting it in A tier for now, below Barbaracle. If it keeps emergency exit, it's dropping down to B tier, maybe even C tier. Because that would be such a lame waste of this high potential of a Pokemon. If it does not keep emergency exit, it might very well even move higher. Now, I'm just going to keep it near the bottom of A tier. I think it's very, very cool. It has a lot of potential. Mega Drampa is easy S tier. I never doubted, whenever I saw Drampa was getting a Mega, I never doubted. Never doubted whatsoever. It's peak. It's such a good design. Such a fun way to expand upon Drampa. Restoring its youth and making it what's normally like a very peaceful cloud-like fur stuff on him. Turning him into angry storm clouds. It's peak. It's peak. Mega Magearna. I really, really like this thing's design. Really like its design. Design is like A tier minimum. But its stats and its like existence as a whole is just completely unnecessary. It's got ridiculous stats. It's got like 95 base speed and 175 special attack. That alone with Shift Gear and Soul Heart is crazy. But they also make it pretty bulky. It's got like over 100 in both defenses. This thing is going to be ridiculous. And like I said, I prefer my Pokemon to be a little more balanced. That'll keep it from A tier, but I think it's top of B tier for now. Zeraora is F tier. I hate this industry plant. I'm not expanding upon it any further if you want to know why I hate Zeraora. I made an entire reaction video to Mega Zeraora's reveal. Yeah, you can go watch that. I hate that Pokemon. Phalanx, however you're supposed to say it. Easy A tier. I am a big fan of this guy. The only thing that would push him higher, in my opinion, is if he was part Steel type. I'm not the biggest Phalanx fan. I do like Phalanx. I feel like most people like Phalanx because it's just silly guys, but this is such a fun way to expand on the design, making them into like a Megazord. Very cool. I got a lot of high hopes for it. Its stats are pretty good. It's got Fake Out now, and it's got Defiant. I feel like there's potential. There's potential with Mega Phalanx. I would keep my eye on it. It's very neat. On to the last four, the Paldea Megas. I'm honestly just still blown away that Paldea even got Megas, considering they're the newest games. And I'm even more blown away that Scovillain got a Mega. Scovillain was like tied with Lantern for Megas that I wanted to see the most by far. But never in a million years did I think it would actually happen. Mega Scovillain, I think it's top. Very no, it's S tier. I think we'll ban it. I already love Scovillain. Scovillain is such a fun design. Firegrass is a type I want to see forever. And Mega Scovillain's design expands on it so well. It going from like an outlaw gunslinger type thing to like a businessman thug mafia guy with a popped collar and the businessman necktie with an evil mohawk. It's such a good design, such a fun way to expand on Scovillain. The only thing holding it back from being like up here is how bad they did its stats. They gave him the Hoenn special for no reason whatsoever. I wish they would just make up their mind and pick physical or special for some of these Pokemon. Like, some of them are so held back by them trying to force them to be mixed attackers. It just works against them. It really does. I do think he's still S tier. I'm just so blown away that it even exists. Mega Glamora. Using this thing in ZA gave me a bigger appreciation for Glamora. I think it's A tier below Mega Raichu X. I love that thing. The thing's design is so cool. The scattering like poisonous debris that you can see floating around it, and the orbiting petals. It's so cool. It's even better when you see it in motion. It's so good. It's such a good design. My only issue, the only thing pulling it back from S tier, the stats aren't that bad. They're not as bad as Scovillain or Malamar, but they did waste for no reason 35 points in physical attack when those could have gone to speed or its defenses or anything else. Because it doesn't need 90 attack. It's got 150 special attack. That's just wasted points. I think it would have been S tier if it wasn't for those, but I love that thing. And then Mega Tatsugiri, I was losing my mind. I was actually losing my mind leading up to this thing, because for one, I didn't see the notification in the top left telling you you're about to fight Mega Tatsugiri. So you can actually kind of see my neurons firing in that video where I first fought it. Because never in a million years would I have ever predicted Mega Tatsugiri to be a thing. Tatsugiri is one of my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon. I just love how silly and goofy he is. And I used it in my first playthrough. Never would have expected to get a Mega. I didn't even know how it would work. But they did. They gave him a Mega, and it's peak. I think it's very top of A tier. Again, held back by its stats being a little weird. It having 3 different designs based on whichever one Mega evolves. It's so cool. Also, I like the official artwork that they use Stretchy for the middle, because that's my favorite Tatsugiri. I love Stretchy Tatsugiri. I'm trying to decide, do I put it in S tier? I think I do. I just love that this thing exists. It just makes me happy. It makes me so happy that Mega Tatsugiri even exists. It's S tier. I love him to death. And then lastly, Mega Baxcalibur. But the entire Frigibax line is a roller coaster for me. Frigibax is ugly as shit. Arctibax is one of the best middle stage designs they've made in the entire series, if not the best. Baxcalibur is kind of disappointing, because it drops like most of the dinosaur inspiration that goes full on Godzilla. This one is still very much Godzilla based, but it is a little more dinosaur-esque in how it's posed. It's much more horizontally angled, I guess. It's also much more clear that it is a sword stabbed through its back. I think it makes the Excalibur inspiration a lot more clear than the base form does. I would put it above Lopunny and B tier. Still not my favorite, but very cool. Also, its stats are pretty balanced. They didn't increase its speed at all. They used a lot of points of special attack, but it's still good. It's not like Mega Garchomp where it gets objectively worse. I think it has potential, and I think B tier is where I would put it. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Favorite Megas Beedrill, least favorite is Charizard. That should be obvious though. Now, whenever Champions does come out, I will have another video updating the main tier list, where I'll rearrange a lot of Megas there and then rank all the new ones. But that's only after we know all their abilities and stuff. Yeah, until then, I will see you in the next video.